How does choosing the time signature affect your song or composition? And of course, why would you even write something that has an irregular time signature? Irregular time signatures was a highly requested topic, so it's about time that we dig in. So let's get creative. The irregular time signature that you choose can really define the character of your playing or of your composition. It's not the case that each time signature only has one certain feel to it, but by choosing to compose in, let's say, 5/4 time signature, you are already committing to a certain format. And with every choice you make, certain opportunities appear and certain opportunities fade away. Here's a progression in 4/4 time signature that we will be adjusting throughout the video to make it into an irregular time signature. You can recognize what time signature a piece is in by looking at this sign at the beginning of a measure or at the beginning of each piece. The upper number tells you how many beats we have in a measure, while the lower number tells us what we count the beats in. In this case we have a 4 and the 4 stands for quarter notes. So we have 4 quarter notes in each bar. What would happen if we would add one extra beat to each bar of our previous example? Then it would become a 5/4 time signature. So this means 5 quarter notes in each bar. Music needs to breathe and it needs variation in the dynamics and how each note is approached. We achieve this by accentuating certain beats more than others. In our 4/4 example, we accentuated the first and the third beat, which adds up to 2 equal groups. But 5 beats cannot be divided in 2 equal groups. If I want to have 2 accents, I will have one group of 3 and one group of 2 beats. Did you notice how the character of my example has changed? It has a rolling feel to it, but with a hiccup at the end. To show you how much potential energy the 5/4 time signature has, I will compare it to the 6/4 time signature by counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you notice how much more momentum the 5/4 time signature actually creates? This is because it has one beat cut off, and that's why it creates more activity. And you're of course not only stuck to this division, and you can also turn it around and create more possibilities. Let's take it into the realm of the 9/8. Now we have 9 eighth note beats per bar. So that means we're going to be counting our beats in eighth notes. Officially the 9/8 time signature is not an irregular time signature, because actually we can divide this into 3 equal groups with 3/8 notes. And to do this would be a more classical approach, so to speak. We would count this division in this way. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1. So how can we spice things up and give it the irregular time signature feel that we're looking for? You can do this by changing the group divisions, of course. You could, for example, divide it into 3 groups of 2/8 notes and 1 group of 3/8 notes. And if we divide it, we can count it, for example, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or you could even make it more extreme. You can treat it as a 4/4 with an extra eighth note added. Let me explain. In a 4/4 time signature, you have 8 eighth notes. So you only have to add one extra eighth note to create a 9/8 time signature. And to count this, you just count to 4, like in a 4/4 time signature. But then when you reach the 5, you're going to cut the 5 short. And you count it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a look at the 7/4 time signature now. Here we have 7 beats per bar. And the easiest way to divide this would be in 3 groups, but of course they will not be equal groups. So we're left with 2 groups of 2 beats and 1 group of 3 beats. And the easiest way to count them is just to count them as 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So to count out loud, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And of course we can play around with the placement of the group divisions. But we can also experiment a bit more and make it into a different rhythm like this. As you might have noticed, these irregular time signatures are definitely capable of giving your music a different feel and some extra energy. But even when you choose one, then still you have so many options left to refine it and to adjust it to your specific needs. So never think that you only have one option. There are many more left to explore. Now before you start experimenting with some new time signatures, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And for now, see you next time.